We will be starting the study session. Who will be presenting first?
Oh, who do we have? Hilda's here, so Solorzano is going to go first.
Testing. Right. Good evening, President Fayak, Vice President Paceno, trustees, and Dr. Munchi. Thank you for the opportunity to share our school plan for student achievement for the 2025-26 year. As you can see here, this is our staff in front of our beautiful mural that we had done last year with our namesake, Ascension Solosano. Our plan is aligned with our district LCAP and serves both our English learners and Title I. Tonight, I'll highlight our student data, areas of growth, challenges, and our priorities of this year. Enrollment and student profile. ASMS enrolled has 749 students. 55 of those students are socioeconomically disadvantaged. 25% are EL learners. 107 students receive special education services. We also serve foster youth and the unhoused students. Overall, our numbers reflect the same student population as Gilroy Unified School District. Attendance. Overall, our ADA for 2024-25 was 93%. Chronic absenteeism decreased from 30 in 2022-23 to 20% in 2024-25. Continued focus on improving attendance through home visits, parent engagement, and transportation supports. Here is our ELA data from the CASP. Now, overall, as you can see, our progress has been very minimal if you look at the data across the way. As you can see, well, do I have the access here? Yes, here. As you can see, overall, in 2025, 41.8% met and exceeds in our CASP and the ELA. In 2024, it was also 41%, 0.68 that met and exceeded. And in 2023, it was 40.74% met and exceeded. However, I really want to focus on the cohort of our students. If you look at 2023, you will see here, this is how our sixth graders came in. They came in, well, at the end of sixth grade, it was 36.05%. In 2024, it was 37.05%. And by the time they ended with us, it was 41.36%. So overall growth in our cohort was about 5% in that cohort. I would like you to also see our socio-disadvantaged students. At 2023, we ended at 22.05%. Then we dipped to 19.84%. We ended with our eighth grade students at 29.51%. Of course, our challenges, as you can see, remain to be our English language learners and students with disability. However, I do want to point out that last year we reclassified 28 students. That is not shown in our EL data. In our math Math continues to be an area for growth. As you can see, overall, a 33.78 met and exceeded in 2025. In 2024, it was 32.61% met and exceeded. And in 2023, it was 29.60% met and exceeded. Again, small growth, but we are moving forward. I would also like to point out our cohort. For sixth grade, at the end of sixth grade, our students were at 26.07%. In seventh grade, it was 33.62%. And when they ended the year with us, it was 34.84%. A growth of 9%, a gain of 9% for our cohort. I'd also like to point out our students that are here, that were sixth graders, that you'll see that trend happening. So our sixth graders at 2024, it was 29.32%. And in seventh grade, they made a gain of 37.28%. So the gains are there. They're within the cohort as they're moving along through our system at Solosano. Again, I'd also like to point out our students with disability have also made that progress. 12.5% they started, or they ended at, it met and exceeded the 2023. 2024 was 17.97% met and exceeded. And when they ended, it was 21.14% exceeded. Another gain, another 9% gain for our socioeconomically disadvantaged students. Again, if you look at our data for ELs and students with disabilities, that is an area that we must focus on. Our LCAP. In 2025, we saw an increase of students at level 1, 29% compared to 16% in 2024. Fewer students at level 4, which is 11% here, versus 27% there in 2024. Our EL data has a cycle as our students get reclassified. Our 27% from last year, most students were reclassified. We also had an influx of newcomers come to our school, about 11 students that are reflected in this data as well. So if you take a look at our cohorts, however, and how they are progressing, as you can see here, 20% here in 2023, where they started here in 2020, level 2 is 24%, and now they're at 34%. We are hoping to make great gains at level 4 and reclassifying students this year for the next following year as we work and focus our efforts towards our EL learners, whereas they're also called bilingual, what was the emerging bilinguals? School climate. So it's school climate. There is a gap between what our families perceive and what our students perceive. Overall, our parents perceive that 84% agree or strongly agree that our teachers hold our students to high expectations. And 56% of our students agree, strongly agree that our teachers hold them to high expectations. So that is a big discrepancy there, as you can see. And then also caring adults, it was 70% strongly agree that there is a teacher or an adult at our school that they can talk to. That was also an area that was also an area that I was not okay with. As my staff knows and our students know, we work really hard to make connections with our students. So when I received this data, I met with our leadership class March of 2025, the 14th, I think it was. And we sat down and we really hashed through this data, and there was a lot of great conversation that was happening. So that is going to be our focus this year with the recommendations of our student body. Suspension rates. So suspension rates, suspensions decreased from 79 in 2024, 23-24 to 62 in 2024-25. Our rates dropped from 9.6% to 7.9%. Our number one intervention is communication with our students and family. Our ARIES dashboard data shows that we have had 1,239 restorative conversations, which have been effective in reducing physical altercations on our campus. So, what are our priorities? Our priorities this year is AVID school-wide. AVID stands for Advancements via Individual Determination. And the way that we are going to implement that is walkthroughs and through Wicker. This year, we had a group of students, a group of teachers that went to the AVID conference. We've been going to the AVID conference for the last 3 years. However, the first year we wanted to really understand what is AVID? What is this thing called AVID and why is it so successful? Year 2 was when we implemented it only in 6th grade and as an elective. This year, since our whole 6th grade students have been exposed to AVID, we felt that it was the appropriate time for us to go school-wide, and it has been well received by all our teachers. We have implemented a binder, which we are giving to our students by next week. Every student will have an AVID binder. Each teacher will be holding our students accountable for the organizational piece of Wicker. The other piece that we are focusing on is reading. Reading at our students are reading at a 3rd, 4th grade level. And our students that are taking the LPAC that was their level 1 that they could not meet in the LPAC piece of the test. So that was the lowest scoring section for our students. So our focus will be reading, and we will be implementing AVID strategies throughout all subject matters. The other, we have established a professional learning community, PLCs. We have established, but we're going to be refining our practice with our PLCs. We will be looking closely at our students with disabilities and also our EL students to see where that gap and that need is as we do, as we have these cycles of inquiry for our students and for our teachers. The way that we're going to meet these priorities is through walkthroughs using our TOSAs. And we do have an EdTech TOSA, a climate and culture TOSA, parent engagement, PLC, and EL monitor. Those are our TOSAs. We also are going to collaborate with our district EL coaches and math coach. Character Strong is also going to be implemented during our Eagle Time. Our Eagle Time will focus on social emotional learning lessons where students will learn our 4 core values plus other social emotional topics that are very important to our students. And the way we'll measure that and implement will be by our rallies and student clubs. Goal 1. Rigorous and innovative learning. We are going to be, again, we have our college and career readiness, which is our AVID school-wide. CalSoap, we do have a college tutor or coach that they call him, that will be coming to our school Tuesdays and Thursdays during lunchtime. And they will be there after school, Monday through Thursday, to provide tutoring or any support our students may need. They will also be working with our 8th grade students that are on the cusp of not making the promotion requirements. So that's what worked with us last year, and it was very successful. So we're going to continue that practice and refining it. We're also, again, we have our electives, which was our music, theater, art, leadership, AVID, yearbook, and athletics this year. A project space. We also have an area where it used to be our old computer lab, where we no longer have computer labs anymore. We created that as a project space so that teachers can check out that area to create a project-based learning, reports, anything that they feel they need a bigger space or moving tables around. That space is available for our teachers to use. Coaching and mentoring, AVID team. We do have an AVID team that is dedicated to this work. They're super excited that we're going school-wide, and also a math coach that we have through the district that will be working with our teachers to implement strategies. Professional learning community, we're implementing our new specialist that will be helping me working through the data, making sure that data is collected, that we're actually looking at our essential standards and hitting that target that we need in order for our students to make the progress within their essential standards. And celebrating our students, of course. We really do want to make sure those students that are achieving and making the mark, that we celebrate our students. And our metric, of course, will be the walkthroughs, the classroom visits, our PLC data, a pre and post ticket, our benchmarks, our CAST, IXL, student data receiving awards, and colleague walkthroughs. Goal 2. Equitable student support. Well, we are going to strengthen our MTSS, which is our multi-tier systems of support, student learning support resources. We have a great team at our school. We meet every month that we talk about our students. We have a great system in place. So we meet, our students don't get lost in the shuffle. We also have another MTSS process with our teachers. So every quarter, our teachers at each grade level get together and talk about their students that they have concerns about and discuss them as a cohort and put them into an MTSS form. And those students are students that we also bring to our meetings to discuss. And we have those interviews with our teachers, as well as why is a student on our list, and we have that discussion. We have a team 1 support, tier 1 support, team 2 that only focuses on just tier 1 activities for all students. So our school culture, which is our leadership, will be leading. They have activities during the week for our kids. We have our spirit weeks. We have our themes that we have. So all of those tier 1s that our climate coach and our counselors work together, they're our tier 1 team So that will also be implemented. Um, Again, our language learners development for newcomers. We have a special elective for AVID for our newcomers that we have placed our students in to become good students and to learn how to become students or to study. Coaching, mentoring, and support is our EL monitors and our EL coach, our PLCs, of course, and we're going to be identifying and responding to student needs, lunchtime and after-school advising with CalSOAP. And our metrics will be our LCAP, student reclassification, data reflections for subgroup STAR, IXL, and CAS data. Our last goal will be inclusive and safe schools. So restorative justice practice, as you can see, we are big at our school with restorative practice. We talk with our students, we work with our students, and we work with our families, and so do our staff. So that's still very important to us. Positive school climate. We are very excited about the second year for our leadership students. Some of our leadership students are here today with us, and we have a whole year plan. We go to CADA every year and we plan out our year and create a goal for the following year so that we can implement those great strategies and ideas that we've learned after we go to our conference. Engaging parents and community with evening events. We have a great TOSA. Her name is Francisca Garcia. She is great reaching out to our families. Our ELAC is pretty strong. They love the activities. That is what they're there for. Of course, we give them all the needs that they need to know, but for them, it's more of the social event, the community event, the learning that we do with our ELAC meetings and our events for like college night. And we have many night events that are on our calendar now for our families. Eagle Time again, we have Eagle Time twice a month. So our students that's where we do our social emotional learning. Lunchtime clubs, right now, our clubs are an RC club during lunch, art, sports, gaming, reading, kindness club, and gardening. So those are the clubs that we have as of last year and continuing this year. We're adding the gardening and the kindness club and reading club this year for our students because of the data that we collected from the needs that the kids wanted. Wellness Center, aka also called the Nest, and so our students will go to our wellness center. I love our wellness center. If you ever have a chance to come and visit our wellness center, I do invite you to come. Monthly home visits, this is a must that we do. We have our SARC meetings. We sit down, we talk about our students and what their needs are, and we make those home visits to see where our families are and meet them where they're at. Link services, student link services, we do utilize our student link services so that we connect our students with those resources. Again, our metrics, panoramic student and parent survey, our attendance data, suspension data, tardy party attendance, evening event attendance, ELAC attendance, our social media. So if you don't follow us, please follow us, and securely passes. So in closing, our plan is about equity, innovation, and student well-being. We are committed to closing the gap, building a strong school culture, and ensuring all students are prepared for success. Thank you for your partnership and support.
Thank you, board. Do we have any questions? Yes, Trustee Nelson.
I have just one question. I think it applies to several of the plans, and then I'll reserve my other questions for later on in the agenda. I noticed, the plan description for the SIPSA, it's aligned with the district's 4 LCAP goals, but you have 3.
There-
So is the family engagement part of goal 3 for the school?
Trustee Nelson, there's actually 5 LCAP goals, but
Well,
the
and
fifth
that-
one
but
is for, I know, the fifth one it specifically is for Mount Madonna, and the fourth one is staffing, which is not one that is reflected in the SIPSAs.
I'm reading this. The SIPSA is aligned with the district's 4 LCAP goals. Goal 4, engage families and educational partners through impactful communication and collaborative decision-making.
Correct. But for the fourth LCAP goal, the SIPSAs themselves don't specify, they don't talk about the LCAP goal 4 in their SIPSAs, because LCAP goal 4 is about basic services, which is the facilities process. And
Well, okay, but why does it say it?
because the facilities are still addressed through the overall LCAP, and the sites do gather the insight from their SIPSA input process about what their specific facilities needs are.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, and just also
I don't like
it
it.
addresses, LCAP Goal 4 addresses staffing. And so when we have like our point twos, I can't speak fully to secondary, but those additional positions that might be having like lit facilitators or assessment paras. So that's where it shows up as alignment to LCAP Goal 4.
I still don't like it. I mean, I didn't pull up the LCAP and I apologize. I was out of town. I just got back last night. So, but it just bothers me that it lists these and the first 3 align. And then number 4 is not here, but it is here. I just detail-oriented person and I'll
If
save,
there's any question, I can try to answer it for you.
no, I'll save the rest for later.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll just say that I just don't like it. Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Dalbono. Okay, no worries.
Thank you for the presentation. I just had a question about when we were looking at the 3-year comparisons with the 3 different grades regarding their math improvements. What do you attribute to some of those, to why we were able to gain, in other words, the students are doing better? What do you attribute that to? I mean, it's farther out from the pandemic, so
Mhm.
I suspect that has maybe something to do with it.
I
But do you have?
attribute, yeah, I attribute that to our staff, our dedicated staff. They're in this with us. They want to see the success of our students. As you can see, they're here to support and they want the best. They wanted to be here. I did not say you have to be here. They're part of this work. So, our PLCs, we're refining. Our data, when they look at their scores, we celebrate our gains, but we also know that we still have a lot of work to do. However, we try to dig deeper and understand the why. That's why when the LPAC, I was trying to understand the why we dipped, because we are doing the work. I know that we're doing the work. So when I dug deeper and I talked to Kermit, and Kermit's, well, you're reclassifying a lot of students every year. So that's a celebration for me and for our teachers that are doing the work, and our EL monitor that is monitoring our students to say, yep, this kid could be reclassified. Yep, it's a great problem to have, but the data feels so dismal when you see zeros. I don't like it. I don't want, neither do our teachers. They don't like it either. So when they see zeros, it's like, but we're doing the work, what's going on? So that data is ever changing. So that point is ever changing, because the students that are being reclassified are no longer part of that data, are no longer taking the LCAP. But as I dig deeper, the bandwidth that they are really failing is reading. And I've talked to Dr. Munshi when we do our one-to-ones, and when I bring the data, we really do take a look at those bandwidths and where their reading levels are. And what we found, where they're at either 2nd or 3rd grade level, our ELs are. at reading levels. So that is our focus this year for our students. Mhm.
Hello, I have a comment or two and then a question. So thank you for your presentation. I really appreciate everything you and your staff do. I really enjoy the social media presence. I feel like it's just really uplifting. I just always
Thank
smile when I
you.
see it
Thank you.
because I follow.
Yay.
Yeah. And it was really nice to see that the AVID is school-wide.
Yes.
Sometimes when I see AVID and I see the individual determination, it makes me feel like it's putting the onus on the child, right?
Yeah.
But when it's school-wide and
Yeah.
we're all embracing, everyone gets it, that feels like an equity
Yes.
effort, in my
Yes.
opinion, because it's saying that we're going to embrace these strategies and teach
Mhm.
these so everyone can succeed.
Yes.
And I also really appreciated and just wanted to give a shout out to the continuance or is that the right word? The continuing effort for your school to embrace restorative practices.
Yes.
This goes way back
Yeah.
to like 2015 or something. And, just remember being in those spaces with Maria Walker and Charla. There's also a great video out there that gets spread throughout restorative justice trainings
Mhm.
that has Solorzano in it.
That's
And
great.
I don't know if you've ever seen it,
I've
but I would
never
love
seen
to
it.
just resurface that and share
Yes.
that because it's really cool.
Yeah.
And you're highlighted in that.
Yes.
So it's nice to see that journey is still there,
Yes. And the
Uh,
data is, the data
mhm.
shows,
Mhm.
again, we had over 1,000 conversations with our students, and it brought down our physical altercations by many.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yes.
And my first question was going to be if you're sharing the priorities and what you really want to achieve, and I think I heard it.
Mhm.
It seems like if I was going to ask you, what's your biggest bang for your buck? What's the one thing that you're really going to hone in on? And it feels like AVID, and maybe reading within AVID.
Yes.
Okay.
Using the O and the R.
The O
in
and the R
Wicker.
within
That
AVID.
is,
Where'd my
that
pen
is,
go?
that is our goal. And
Jeez.
those are the two goals as a full-on
Okay.
staff that we are
Mhm.
committing to.
And I'm happy about that. I don't have a lot of research, but I have strong opinions
Mhm.
that make me feel like that's a really good direction.
Yes.
Because I like the vertical tiered approach to everything that we do, but I like the horizontal approach too.
Mhm.
And I feel strongly that the AVID strategies give us the biggest bang for our buck.
Yes.
Right, for the students with disabilities, our English language learners, it matches up with universal design, it matches up with the EL roadmap,
Yes.
with discipline efforts, with chronic absenteeism support. So it feels like that's a good bang for your buck.
Yes.
Right there and this way. So thank you for that.
Sure.
So Mike, my last question
Yes.
is, you have a very solid plan here. You've acknowledged the areas that you need to grow. Your
Yes.
staff is ready to do it and ready
Yeah.
to embrace the challenges.
Mhm.
What's the biggest obstacle that you foresee in being able to achieve your goals?
The biggest obstacle is that not everyone is trained in AVID. And our job as a AVID team is to embrace it and to teach our teachers that have never been exposed to AVID as to what AVID is. Again, I didn't jump into AVID year one when we first went. I needed to, or even our staff needed to know, we needed to know what is AVID and why are we here, right? The next year, we implemented it. We said, okay, sixth graders, all of you your elective is AVID, so everybody's gonna get AVID. Now, I felt confidence this year to implement it school-wide because I had teachers that were teaching it, and we did not want to lose whatever our students that came in from sixth grade, we did not want to lose that. We wanted to continue that effort. And when we presented on Friday with our staff, we told them the why, and they met us and they were more than happy to implement these two goals that we have this year.
Thank you. And I think you had asked, Ms. Pacino had asked a bit like the results, like data around it. And so I look forward to
Yes, so do I.
watching the progress in your journey and
Yes.
wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Trustee Casino.
I'm glad that you're doing Avid. Can you give me a ballpark figure of how many, what percentage of your staff is trained in Avid?
So ballpark figure, I would say there's about 10 of us. 10 of us that have gone to the Avid trainings.
Okay.
Yes.
So
My
that's a,
goal is to get everybody trained. That is my goal. And if we continue to have it here in Sacramento, I would get more bang for my buck. I hope they continue to have Avid here in Sacramento.
it's a big ask for staff members to implement Avid without having the training.
Yes.
So continue to support them.
Absolutely. And then
Um,
that's something I did let them know that I understand that a lot of you have not been trained, but our goal is to get everyone trained.
So PLC data,
Mhm.
what data are you using in your PLCs?
So PLC data will be focusing on our ELs and also our students with disability. September, we are diving deep into our data to find out where the bands are that are our biggest gaps.
So when you're saying diving into the data, you mean the CASP data?
The CAS data, yes, we're
Are
diving
there,
in.
is there other data that you're using in your PLCs throughout the
Yes.
year?
Yes, we also dive into our benchmark data that we
Mhm.
have from the district. We have our STAR data that we use as well, along with when our teachers are looking at their essential standards,
Mhm.
they create a data point or an exit ticket, as you saw in my metrics. It's an exit ticket or post and pre-post when it's a quick data find that we wanted to find out if our kids are making progress within this essential standard. Our teachers have, and with the guidance of our PLC specialist, they're also going to work with our teachers to make sure that we are actually looking at essential standards and also where our kids are at so that we know their starting point and what their end point is and what goals we have for our students. Another thing that we are also encouraging our students is to take ownership of their learning. So a lot of Avid skills of the Acosta's levels of learning is something that we're also going to be implementing. So our students are also learning how to use their words to push their thinking.
So when you say take advantage, do your students know their grade level in reading and in math?
Yes, they do. We do use our iExcel data and also our STAR data. And we also have, we're implementing this year, that's going to go into their Avid binder, a tracker. So they're going to be tracking their own progress as part of their Avid binder.
Do they have goals?
Yes, they have
For-
goals in
for-
that track.
Okay.
track. Mhm.
And celebrating student achievement, what is
Yes.
that based on?
That is based on many things. That is, it could be academics. We have one that is called the Golden Eagle. And the Golden Eagle highlights students that are making that effort and that are striving to become a better a learner and student. We have our tardy party where every quarter if a student is not tardy, they get to go to a party. So we're collecting that as well, because I don't want to do a perfect attendance. We want kids to be on time and go to class on time. So and then that's what we got from Kata too, is doing the tardy party. Oh,
I hope there's a party for kids who have increased their academic achievement as well
yes,
during the year.
absolutely. Yes, and most improvements,
Mhm.
yes, we celebrate our students. We do STAR data improvements too, or uh, athletics. We celebrate our students all the time. We also give them eagle wings. So we have 4 core values at our school. I know we have a list of so many rules inside our planner that our kids are not savvy of all the rules, but our 4 core values is what we lean on the most. It's to be respectful, it's to be responsible, it's to be safe, and to be kind. Those are the 4 core values that we really work on with our students. And if something's happening, it's easy. I was like, oh, what are our 4 core values? What is it that we're doing? How can we change that? So it's more of a conversation if something is happening. It's like, oh, you're running. Are we being safe? No. What can we do? A walk. Okay. All right. Awesome. Those are the quick conversations that we can have every day with our students, and it's common language for all our teachers and staff that those are our 4 core values.
You mentioned conversations with the information about students felt that only 56% felt that teachers held them to a high standard. What will come out of those conversations? Because 56% is concerning
Very
to me.
low, yes. And I was just, when I saw the data, I didn't just sit back and say, oh, okay. No, I called Miss Smart and said, Miss Smart, I need to meet with our leadership students, and I need to know the why. And here are some of the whys if you want to hear
Sure,
them.
I would.
Okay, so on March 14, 2025, I discussed the data findings with our leadership students, and here's what they reported. Students feel lessons and support are less engaging, relevant, less engaging, and what they really want is more interactive lessons. They want real world learning, one-to-one check-ins from teachers. And they also want an advisory time for catch-up and mental health lessons and peer tutoring. So those are some of the things that came up in our conversations. They also, when we talked about our caring adults, so they desire strong connections with our teachers. They want fairness, respect, understanding, and especially for those students that are struggling. So that is what conversation that we had with our leadership kids. And this year, our focus with our ASB students will be building student-teacher relationships and raising those expectations.
Unless the question itself is different, what I have is 56% of students agree that teachers hold them to high expectations for effort. Hold them to high expectations for effort, understanding, persistence, and performance in class. The things that you described don't relate to that question.
Yes.
And that concerns me, that kids feel that they are not held to
They're not being
high
challenged.
expectations. They're not being challenged.
Yes. Yes.
So
And
that is a big concern for me.
I agree, and it's a big concern for me as well. So that is the reason why I made sure we met with our students to find out the why. And in our leadership team, we talk about this data, and we talk about how we are going to make sure we improve.
And how are you going to ensure that you improve?
Well, that is when we meet with our leadership team, and we're going to discuss what kinds of strategies we can implement to make sure that our students' needs are being met. How can we make sure our students have are held to high expectations? What does that look like? What does that feel like? And so we will be having those discussions, and we
Thank you.
have had
And-
those discussions.
And the reason I ask is I'm a product of the 60s when I went to school. And at that point, it was, let's make everybody feel good.
Yeah.
And as a poor Latina in school,
Mhm.
there's no way that feeling good was going to help me in my life.
I agree, as
And
I am.
you can give me as much love as you want, but if I can't read, write, and do math, that's not
Correct.
going to help me much.
You're
So the
absolutely,
expectations are, for me,
Mhm.
was important and certainly is important to me now. So
Yes.
thank you for having discussions. I look forward to hearing some specifics that you're using to, and you and your staff are using to address. it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Yes, trustee Moreno.
Uh, Trustee Pacino took a lot of my questions in that last one. My questions were about the school climate survey. Being a parent that takes these surveys, I'm not a big fan. I feel like they don't really give the best kind of questions. I'm not always a good judge. I think most parents aren't a good judge as to what is taking place in the classroom.
Yes.
Because for the most part, we're not in the classroom. So all we do is get feedback from students,
Correct.
from our kids. So when I look at the survey data, I see 84%, and I'm going to guess parents were generous in that score, because that's what I do. I'm pretty generous when it comes to that kind of thing, knowing that I don't know the answer. And because I've discussed this before with, I think, the other departments, there is no I don't know option. It just, you have to say something positive, something neutral, something negative. Or not even neutral. I don't think there's no neutral. It's something positive or something negative, and that's your only option. So likely that the parent percentage is very low in real life, because it, 84%, you look at it and see, it's a B. 56% of the students say this, and they may be generous there too. I'm wondering, because most students, they're probably a little bit more honest than the parents because they're in the classrooms. But my questions were going to kind of be around the idea of, I know your staff is here, I know they're engaged, but then there's some disconnect somewhere.
Yes.
And I'm just wanted to say, I hope you can work this year to identify, because it's good to have wonderful teachers. We all support them. We want good relationships, but if there is some breakdown somewhere, it needs to be identified. Otherwise, we are just spinning tires and doing nothing. The other thing I was going to say, based on your answer from that Trustee Pacino, you said that you surveyed the leadership, student leadership group. I don't really like that either. That is where you're going to get very different answer, I think, than an average student. And a kid in leadership is going to give you a very different perspective. It's going to be more focused on maybe higher achievement or higher goals or whatever. And that's probably not really reflective of your everyday average student. So we just want to say from that perspective, maybe be careful on pursuing too quickly and too fast based on a leadership survey, that perhaps more kids from the middle of the road or the end of the road or at the bottom would be more helpful in identifying why there is a disconnect. So just wanted to say that.
Thank you for that. Yes, I agree.
Trustee Nelson.
So 2 follow-up questions. Is it possible to change the survey to put, I don't know?
No,
Why? No.
it's not, because
Sonia or Jean, could you please? come
I
up
can
and
answer that
respond?
for you. I believe you said it's standardized over the years.
Yeah.
And so over the years, they need that data year after year after year after year, so they can't change the questions now.
Compare.
Am I right on that?
Compare and contrast. Okay. Is there a space for comments?
Really important of the process is not just the survey that you take online, but is those LCAP input sessions where people come in person and we gather data from the community, from our students, from our teachers and our staff. So it's more qualitative than quantitative, but those are really critical pieces that help us to develop and design the priorities within our LCAP that also informs the SIPSs that our administrators develop.
What was the level of participation in the LCAP meetings, would you say?
I don't, off the top of my head.
You don't have that off the top?
I don't have the top of my head today on the second day of school.
Oh, jeez.
But we can provide that to you through a Sunday board report if you request that.
Okay, it's not an emergency or
Okay,
anything,
well, we'll
but
get
I was
on-
just
we'll get on
curious. Do you happen to know the participation of parents from Solorzano who participated in the Panorama survey?
It was pretty high from what I remember, but I don't remember the amount. I do remember talking to Kermit, and that our parent population, it was a pretty high percentage that did participate, but I
And
don't remember.
All the
um,
students do it?
All students.
All right, thanks.
But I really uh, take your feedback, and I really like what you mentioned to survey all students as to why. Thank you.
Sorry, I apologize to Gecka because Solar Sana took up all your time. No, sorry. Yeah, I don't think that we have any more time for questions. I would like to say congratulations to Gecka for number 8 in California. But yeah, I don't, unless you can do your presentation in 5 minutes.
No, I don't think that's fair to her. There's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
don't
of
think so either, yeah.
accomplishments, and
Yeah.
I want to honor Gecka and give them the same amount of time. Ms. Flores, can we reschedule them and put them on the agenda for another time then? And sorry, Ms. Bennett, for
Yeah.
keeping you waiting.
We apologize. So for board, because we have 2 presentations, each presentation should be 20 minutes and 10 minutes of Q&A. Okay?
Actually, what we did last year isn't again, but Solozano was first today. We'll practice with our principals and make sure the presentation is 15 minutes because we also want to give the board enough time to answer to ask questions. That's the whole idea. We are not required, or this part of SIPSA is not mandated. This is just something that we do as a district. Later on the agenda today, as you've seen, we have the SIPSA's actual SIPSAs that were sent to the board ahead of time. You read those, you approve those, but this part actually is just something our district does. It's not required. And I do want to give all our schools the same opportunity because they work really hard and they have a lot of pride in the work that they do. But I also understand that the board wants to ask questions and have a full understanding of what's happening at our sites. So we'll work on having more time and we'll plan it better.
You can't hear me? No. I just really appreciate this. I think it's a better way of learning about what's happening at the school sites. And as a newer board member, I can also say I feel like that this information seeks in a little bit better. I'm learning the acronyms better. I noticed that just maybe as a recommendation in all the presentations, if it's an acronym, I love how you put the legends at the bottom on some, but some of them I had to still look up. So I don't know if we can give that feedback to any of our presenters, because we have a lot of acronyms and I still try.
We
Don't
will
follow them.
definitely take note of that.
I know, so do I, but, so thank you.
Yes, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
thank you
you.
to the Solorzano team for being here tonight. Ms. Bennett, again, my apologies for keeping you waiting, Ms. Bennett. And congratulations again.
We have a 3-minute break if you want to take it. Okay, where are we?
Pledge of allegiance. Congratulations.
All right, it is 7:01. We are starting the meeting. We're starting the regular session at 7:01. Hey, algún que necesita intérprete para esta junta? This meeting is being recorded or broadcasted. Images and sounds may be captured of those attending the meeting. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we are on to item 4B, the approval of the agenda. Trustee Nelson, did you still want to pull item 6D for discussion?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
All motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye. Any
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Now we are on to item 4C, general public comment. We have one comment. Mr. Felios?
My son-in-law, Tim Albernaz, the assistant principal of South Valley Middle School, came home wearing this shirt saying change. I go, oh, change? Who's that? Where's that from? Where'd you get that? And he says, oh, in the school district. I said, oh, really? Now, I'm old school. I hate change. I like routine. You know, I don't want, hey, don't change things unless you really have a good reason. My son-in-law, Tim, he seems very excited about this change. Now, we don't talk specifics because, so don't think I know what you guys are doing. I don't know what you guys are doing, but whatever it is, he's pretty excited about it. And he'd like to see everybody embrace this. And that's why all you guys have these nice shirts. And it'd be nice if we all embrace this. Now, change is a pain because, again, you have your routine and you have certain things you want to do. With change, oh no, you got to learn new things and you have to adjust and assess. It's tough. That's why you guys really need each other. If you're going to change, you guys really need each other to unify and work together on this change. The thing now, although I hate change, I got to tell you one thing that's got to change. Back in my day, in the old school, we had respect for teachers. Things have changed over the years. It doesn't seem as there is the same respect for teachers. I'd like to see the change go back to the time when there was respect for teachers. And by the same token, when the teachers feel respected, they feel more apt to respect the students. Hey, you've got these students that are a pain in the butt. Why should I respect them? They don't even respect me. Okay, well, I don't know what you guys are doing, but if there's some way we can change back to the old days, if we can get some respect for the teachers, where the teachers, all right, to me, teachers are the greatest. Teachers, all right, I know you guys are doing your job, and whatever you do to make the school environment safe, secure, inviting, welcoming, oh, that's great. That's what, we want. I love school. I love going to school. I would like to see kids enjoy going to school. Now, here's the thing, if there's some way that we could provide all the support we can for teachers. Oh, this is the start of the school year. Again, and they got to learn all these new students and what makes them tick and what works and what doesn't. So I want you guys now to especially work on making sure you support the teachers. So, in the beginning of the school year, so they get to know their students. And again, this is a way for students to be more responsive. And the teachers are out in front. Let's get these teachers, give them the support they need. Thank you.
Thank you. We are. Okay, we are on to item 4D, report of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session. So we are on to item 5, the superintendent's report. Dr. Munshi.
Let me start by saying I am so excited that everybody's fired about change. So clearly people have heard about this. So we'll be talking about this today. Well, this is our second meeting for this school year. So welcome, everybody. Let me start by August. It's been a busy, busy 2 weeks. I can tell you that. It's been just no slowing down, but it's all been exciting things. On August 8th, we kind of kicked off the school year with our first formal event, the Girls Tech Day, and this is our second year hosting this event in partnership with Amazon. And this year it was at Brownell Middle School, and we had over 130 sixth graders. How many did we have, Melly?
120.
120 sixth graders. They had an amazing day. Trustee Pisano, thank you for attending as well. Councilmember Tom Klein was there as well, and staff from Amazon. So great day to kick off. We are working with them to see if we can host another day that's open to all our students as well. So great partnership that we appreciate. On August 8th, I attended the South County Youth Task Force led cafecito with the community, and Chief Binder and I were invited to address the community. I was so impressed with the attendance. It was, and Trustee Fayak, you were there. Thank you for attending. Great turnout. Students, there was food, free haircuts, backpacks, shoes, books, school supplies, and just the energy. Both Chief Binder and I talked about what the school year would look like. We answered questions that the community had. I felt it was a great event. And I was very impressed on a Friday night for that many families to come out with their kids. On August 12th, we had training for our administrators, which was led by Dr. Luis Cruz. And it kind of goes along with our change. And I will talk about that in just a little bit when we talk about the welcome back for staff. August 13th, we had our new teacher orientation at South Valley Middle School, where we welcomed over 40 teachers. Dr. Winslow, how many did we have in all this year? 45. And this is probably the lowest number we've had, which is great, because that means that we are able to hire and retain staff. Again, a great group of new educators that we welcome to our district. On August 13, I attended the celebration of life for Jim Rogers. Trustee Pisano, you were there. Some of you might not know Mr. Rogers. He's a former counselor, administrator, and board member in our district. He is a very active community member, but he served in our district for several years. And it was kind of, for me, nostalgic, because I saw a lot of people that had hired me. In fact, in this picture on the right, Mr. Diaz, Edwin Diaz, who was a superintendent at a time when I was hired in this district, and Mr. Sakahara, who at that time was the assistant soup of HR. And I still remember the day I walked into district office and I was signing my contract. This is a true story. I was signing my contract in Mr. Sakahara's office, and Superintendent Diaz walked by. He had been in my classroom as a student teacher when I was a student teacher. He walked, came back. He goes, "Good, she signed a contract. We need to have her in a district. So go ahead and sign the contract." So again, it was very nostalgic for me to be with so many educators that were part of my life when I joined the district, and they coached me and mentored me and gave me great advice. On August 14th, we had our facilities subcommittee meeting. August 14th, I attended the Gilroy High and Christopher High Link Crew, where the incoming freshman class, they go through a day of orientation, which is led by the Link Crew leaders. I was really impressed at how well the students were doing. There were no adults around. They knew their groups. They were leading the activities. Great interaction. So it was good to see that. On August 14th, I, along with Trustee Fayak, Paceno, Moreno, and Kim, attended the Mount Madonna High School campus meet and greet. We met so many families, and I was so happy to talk to so many parents and students who were excited. They were walking around, looking at classrooms, looking at the campus. This campus is almost, I would say, 3 times the size of the campus that they attended. So it was heartwarming to see that. We had several partners that had tables there that night. Great evening. On August 15th, I attended the Welcome Back for GUSD Food Services staff with Mr. Meza, which was at Gilroy High School. On August 18th, and this is where the change, I'm going to talk about it, we had our GUSD kickoff keynote. We have traditionally, now for several years, had the keynote at Christopher High School just because that's the only place where we can have that many people in the gym. And we have some pictures. Thank you, Melanie. This is also a day when we do the kickoff in the morning. Sometimes we have a keynote speaker, and then we have professional development for the rest of the day. So let me talk about change. This is my 3rd year going in. The first year we led with, it's just something that brings us all together and links us. The first year it was excellence. It takes everyone. The second year, last year, we picked the word impact. And we talked about the impact that we have as educators on our students. And that was a leading word for us last year. It showed up in many different spaces, but the principals, leadership, we were hoping to lead with that word, the work that we were doing. This year, we picked the word change. And I thought deeply about, and you asked a lot of questions in the previous presentation about numbers and data. We are reading this book called Time to Change. It's by Anthony Muhammad and Dr. Luis Cruz. And Dr. Luis Cruz is the person that led our training for administrators on August 12th. This book really talks about change. And you're right, change is a scary word. So Trustee Pisano, thank you for attending because you heard my welcome back remarks. And I explained why we need to change. And I said, I know some of you probably are thinking that we're going to change curriculum. You're going to give me more work without taking anything off my plate. And I have to tell you, I am proud of the work that our district and our staff is doing. Without adding more hours to the day, I don't know how to make people work harder or longer hours. When we talk about change, I threw some numbers there, and I'm going to share those with the board. 57.6, 27%, and that day I said 19%, but I've corrected it. Ms. Polito said it's 17%. 57.6, about 27%, and 17%. These numbers mean something. 57.6% of our students qualify for free and reduced meals in our district. That's more than half of our kids qualify for free and reduced meals. 27% of our students identify as ELs. 17%, again, I corrected this number. I said 19 that day, but it's 17. Ms. Polito and I just talked about this today. 17% of our students have IEPs. And yet, consistently, 40 to 50%, never over 50%, Kermit, correct me, you and I talked about this, 40 to 50% of our students are proficient in ELA and math. And this was before COVID. This wasn't last year, the year before, this wasn't after COVID, right? So we are working so hard. We can't work any harder and longer than what we are doing. So, and all of you talked about this, what can we do differently? What are we going to do differently? And so the 3 questions, I put those questions up. When you talk about any change, there are 3 things we need to consider. Why are we going to change? Who needs to change? And how are we going to change? I gave a little bit of the why to you. 57% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch. We are not the district that's going to tie our academic performance to the rate of poverty in our district. We are not. And I know that our staff agrees. They work so hard. They have so much passion and empathy. So that was part of the why. The next was who? All of us. Every single person that works in the district. And all of you sitting here as a board, if you as a board don't believe in our why and why we need to change, I'm not sure how I can move our staff to do the same. So it's not just about wearing a shirt that says change. It really is a belief. And I believe in this. And our staff, I hope, believes in it too. And I'm requesting the board to believe in it and back me up on this. When I say our staff, we need to think differently. Last year, we started talking about PLCs, and you heard Hilda talk about it earlier. We've set up PLCs. What does it mean? I talked about changing PLCs from a noun, not from a verb to a noun. It's not a form. I don't need more numbers thrown at me. If you're not going to tell me what you're going to change in your practice, the numbers mean nothing. And these are conversations that all of us we started those last year. I believe in our staff. I believe in our teachers. So that's the PLCs. We need then the responsibility of our district staff. We can't just say, or as a superintendent, it would be irresponsible for me to say, let's change. I need data. I need better scores, when my team and I are not able to support or provide the support. So when I say all, I mean all means all. It is our responsibility as a district to make sure we are really thinking deeply about the curriculum we are providing, professional development. If we are asking AVID, you asked Hilda about AVID. If we are asking teachers to teach AVID without training, what kind of results are we going to see? What you put into a system is what you're going to get out of the system. So if I'm asking people to change, then we need to change something at our end too. And you've heard me say this, I believe firmly in the team here at district office, those that are sitting in this room and those that are not here. Sometimes people work behind the scenes and their work goes unnoticed. So we are invested in this. So it is our responsibility to make sure we are giving the support and resources that all our staff need at sites, whatever that might be, to have that conversation. We talked about Kagan's strategies, and I know, Trustee Nelson, I know what you're going to say. You and I have had many conversations about this. It's a pendulum swing. We've done this before, more PD, more PD. Here's the thing. As educators, if we don't believe that there is still room to learn and grow for us, how can we expect our students to learn? We have to believe. I believe every day that I learn something new every day. That's the lens I use. Because if I knew everything about what I do, then I'm in the wrong place. I'm here to learn, to become better, and to make the system better. So that was that. And then the third one was how. And the how is, again, more resources, more training, more support. That's how we make change. I thought it was important for me to share this with the board, and that morning I shared this with our staff a little bit. It's hard. I know people walked out of there because, again, people care about student profession. If we didn't care about kids, we wouldn't be sitting here. So that hopefully answers your question about change and what these shirts mean. It's not just about a shirt with something written on it. It really is about something that we believe in. This is how we are going to lead the work this year. We are going to talk about how do we change our practices, how do we change our mindsets, how do we change our beliefs, and again, collectively, what can we do to support each other to bring about this change? The other thing I've said to you, and I will repeat it, change does not happen in 1 year. or 2 years, or sometimes even 3 years. It takes anywhere minimum 3 to 5 years for things to change. Sometimes when systems are really, really broken, it can take up to 7 or 10 years. There's research behind that. So when we get impatient and we say, what is happening? Nothing's happening. Nothing's changed. There are changes happening already. If you look at the data really closely, there are changes happening. But will we go from 40% proficiency to 90% in 1 year? No, I also told you 57, 27, and 17. Let's keep those numbers in mind also. So realistically, what goals are we setting every year to make those small growth, those small steps every year? But most importantly, how do we change our culture? I've lived in the HR world too long, and we talk about it. Nothing in our world should be a gotcha. When we give people feedback, when we sit and do our PLCs, when we ask people for data, if I'm sitting here to say, see, I gotcha. This is what we are in the wrong business. We are not, as a district, in the business of a gotcha. We are in a business of building trust, respect, collaboration, because that's how change happens. And I firmly believe in that. So again, my promise to you is that this year, my team and I will do everything in our power to support our staff at sites. They're in the trenches with our kids. We will do this work together. And it's not a blame game. It's not a gotcha. It's not a you didn't work hard enough. I know because I see how hard people work. So I believe in our district. I believe in our staff. I believe in the work that the steps, the systems we have put in place last year. And all we need to do is just keep plugging along this year, and we'll get there. So that was a long-winded August 18th. But I thought it was important for you to know what this change is about, because you as a board, if I don't have your support with this work, I don't know how I can move forward. All right, let's move to August 18th, the second thing I did, which was visit the transportation department. Oh, this was a fun activity. So Mr. Meza and I went to the transportation department, and the activity that you see on the left, this is really fun. So Linda had purchased 2 goggles.
Explain that it's not me, Linda.
Not Trustee Pisano, Linda. Linda Figoni, she's our supervisor of transportation. And these goggles basically, so if somebody has a DUI, so if you're intoxicated, it had although what was the number on both the glasses? It was like you literally couldn't see anything. So it amounted to that if you are driving under the influence, this is what it would look like. And so everybody took turns, and you had these cones, and you had to navigate your bus through these cones with those glasses on. And it was funny to see some people who had the heavier glasses on literally bump into every cone. And the exercise was just that, not that our drivers would ever do that. They care about kids too much. But it was just a fun activity they had planned, and Alvaro and I also took part. So, yeah. I hit one. I did hit one.
What about Alvaro?
Alvaro, how many did you hit? 3, 4. I think he took the glasses with the heavier numbers. So yeah, because that was really hard. Like you literally could not see, and you felt disoriented. So it was, yeah. Okay, then on August 19th, we had our back to school luncheon, and this is again tradition. I go and welcome our paraeducators back to work. They have a luncheon that GFB organizes. We go and say hello. Dr. Winslow was with me. Paul and Leanne both went with me. Anna and who else was from your team? Yeah, so we just welcome staff, and because again, we're happy to see everybody. On August 19th, I had a meeting with the interim city administrator, Mr. Brad Kilger. And then on August 20th was the first day of school. which was just yesterday, believe it or not. Oh my goodness, those pictures. And of course, I know Trustee Moreno will make fun of me, but yes, I had to say hello to my favorite dog in the world right now, Maui. Maui was loving the attention. He let every child pet him. It was just a lot of fun. And then between yesterday and today, what I try to do is visit, and just visit, literally check in with all the principals on the first day of school. It was exhausting yesterday, and the only school I was not able to, at 2:30, I kind of 2:25 contemplated, should I go to Gilroy High or not? And then I thought about traffic, and I said, that'll be tomorrow morning. So all the other schools I was able to visit yesterday, and then this morning I went to Gilroy High, and then our preschools. I went to all the preschools. All right, so, and then upcoming fall visits, those are coming up next week. Those were included in my weekly report to you as well. August 25th is South Valley, September 2nd is Solorzano, September 3rd, Rod Kelly, September 4th, Brownell. And I apologize in advance. Occasionally, Lucy will send you a change, because if something shows up on my calendar that I cannot move, then we will give you enough notice. Upcoming events, on August 28th and 29th, I will be attending the Santa Clara County Superintendent Association retreat. That's again an annual retreat that all superintendents attend. And that concludes my report, which was long. Yes. Oh, the IPEN training, August 26th and 27th. This is all staff. So front office staff, principals, School Link Services coordinators, anybody that is in the front office or works with families, all our specialized services teams. So this is being offered by County Council, and staff will be attending that. So it's kind of a refresher. You may remember our legal counsel trained our staff last year. We just thought with the start of the school year, it would be nice for everybody to just get a refresher. All right, that concludes my report.
Thank you. I personally love change because I like the challenge. So I'm looking forward to this year.
Not all change is good.
No, but you can make it
United
good.
went down
Yeah.
nationwide.
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
That wasn't good because I missed my flight.
But this will be a good change, and we all need to get forward.
Oh, okay, okay.
Get on board, Michelle. All right, so we are on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda items 6A through G, with D being removed for discussion?
Move approval for those items.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Now we are on to 6D, approval of school plans for student achievement. Did you have questions?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I know. It's just-
Trustee Nelson, I don't see if you. You might notice both our directors stepped up.
Yes, they're ready for me. You ready for me? Okay. All right. You might want to pull up the Solorzano plan.
Oh, boy.
All right, I'll have my assistants in the back.
Okay. I want to make a comment about page 6 first with respect to change. And then I'll get going on the other stuff.
Okay.
So I have mentioned often that even though we don't control it, not within our power to control what parents do, one of the items on page 6 is that family surveys indicated a strong need for parent education workshops. And this is coming from the SIPSA itself for Solorzano. Families express interest in learning how to support student learning at home. So it's not just the festivals. They would like some guidance about how to do this and how to navigate digital learning platforms and school communication tools. So I'll just leave it at that. I had a question about, at the bottom, other needs. Interim benchmark assessments administered in fall and winter show that less than 50% of students in grades 4 through 6 are reading a grade level. So this is supposed to be Solorzano, so I know Solorzano is grades 6, 7, and 8. Did this reflect something, the grade 6 at Solorzano? That's still page 6 of 58,
Under other needs.
under other needs. I'm wondering why it's here?
We're assuming that that is a typo since it is a 6th through 8th grade
Yeah.
school.
Okay. On page 7, at the, first of all, the enrollment, there are two different figures. In the first table, it has the enrollment as 749. And in the second table, it has the enrollment as 760. And in the PowerPoint, I believe it said 749.
That was a CBED 749, I believe, in the PowerPoint.
But why
Yeah,
is
so-
there a discrepancy?
Yeah, so
Probably
these are automatically pulled up, so it could be pulling from two data sources, and Mr. Schrock can correct us if we are speaking incorrectly.
Okay.
So one of them may be from CBED's data, that is done in October, and then there is the actual, like, that the principal may be looking at in their areas for enrollment for the year.
Okay. It would be nice if there were an explanation behind the discrepancy, maybe down the road.
DTS, the platform through which the SIPSs are populated,
Mhm.
DTS pulls information from the different data sources, and it provides a template that is preset, but does not allow us to necessarily add in some of those explanations, but we
Okay.
can see what we can do.
Okay. Just get on that.
Yeah, we see Mr. Schrock is back there with his eyebrows ready, thinking about that.
You think, no, stop it. Okay, on the same page, conclusions based on this data, number 2, it says American Indian and Pacific Islander students are the least represented groups, each making up only 0.25 of the total enrollment. If you look up at the top table for 24-25, it says 0.13. Was the 0.25 taken from 23-24 school year by mistake?
Yeah, I mean, we would say these would be things that the principal would have to specifically answer and address as to what they were pulling from in their SIPSA.
I told her to watch so she can.
And what we are also asking the principals to do is go through and reflect on the data that they see present and then update those reflections. And so when you see the comments and the specifics, I can't speak to what that reflection was when that principal was writing it at that time.
And I also, again, it's really important to know that the SIPSA is a living document. So this is an interactive process. So when they do the conclusions on that data, when they did that SIPS, maybe before this populated, they were looking at the 23-24 data, which is more in line with the 25% that you're, or is it 24?
Right.
Yeah. Percent that you're seeing.
I figured.
And so as they go through that interactive and iterative process of doing their comprehensive needs assessment, I know that makes this a confusing process where we're looking back to plan forward. And so we are using data that may not be the current data, like in their SIPSs, you don't see their current CAS data from this spring because the state has not released it yet.
That's true, but it does have 24-25 as 0.13. And if you look at number 3, the grade level distribution, those numbers reflect 24-25 school year. All right, on the next page, on page 8, I had the same questions on, so say, number 2, decrease in fluent proficient students, there's a notable decrease. It says 18.6 in the 22-23 school year, but actually in the second row, it says 16.2, not 18.6. And the 17% for 23-24 is correct. So there's just some errors. It looks as if this was copied and pasted from the SIPSA that was approved in November of 24.
That to our notes.
Okay. Let's see. And I know this is difficult because all the data is not available. I was looking through this, hang on a second, but it was correct that she was using the previous year because we didn't even have this, the CASPs yet.
Correct.
So the state makes things a little bit more difficult, huh?
Yes.
Same thing for the LPAC. It had to be using 23, 24 because the data was not released until late May. Thank you, California. If you look at page 17,
Trustee Nelson?
yes. Want me to put all this in an email?
You can,
think
do we
that
need
would
to do
be-
this at a public meeting?
Well, I'm just, so
And
I can-
so what
I was
I
going to apologize,
appreciate-
yeah.
no, I
yeah,
appreciate
no.
the time that you've taken to look at all the specific
Hmm.
detail, because I didn't.
Well,
And
no.
but do we need to do this
No.
at this meeting? So can you maybe meet with them, set up a
Sure.
meeting to discuss it with
Sure,
them?
and I apologize to Principal Aguirre because I was out of town. I just got home last night. Doing this electronically, look at this.
Sure, it's a lot.
Forget it.
So
so
I
I just
appreciate
wanna-
that you even have,
Yeah, I'm explaining why I'm going to vote no at this time. I was going to vote to abstain,
Mhm.
but given what I found here with one school, and then I had questions on some other things, I'm going to have to vote no because of the errors, but I know that we have time to fix them, yes?
As we update for their new SIPSA, we will adjust this. So these documents have been approved by their school site council. So when we think about the rules and the roles, so the school site council is looking at the instructional priorities, the budgeting priorities. They're not maybe as in the detail as we're looking at here. Our goal through those comprehensive needs assessments that they take their school site council, their ELACs through, their parent groups, is that they are getting that input and based on those conclusions. So your role is really are we meeting the compliance, the ed code, right? Are you being fiscally responsible with the dollars that you're seeing in our SIPSs? So there's kind of those two different roles that the school site council and the Board of Education hold in approving SIPSs.
I just can't approve something that has errors.
I understand.
That's it. So I'm fine with meeting or email, maybe meet in person better when I have the chance to go through this Bible. So I'm good, if we're all good.
thank you.
And that's it for now.
Yes, Trustee Kim.
One thing that I did notice going through all these, the common request from the very first thing that you said, Trustee Nelson, is families express interest in learning how to support student learning at home and how to navigate digital learning platforms and school communication tools. That was, I mean, I didn't tally each school, but I remember reading that sentence an awful lot. So and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I hope you guys realize that too. And I hope that we can certainly change that and provide families this information, because if they are seeking for it, we should give it to them.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having alignment between our school site SIPSs and our LCAPs. So those work in, partnership with each other. And so things like PK, we came across, Nicole in our department, the difference between parent involvement and parent engagement. Parent involvement is come do the fun things, come to book nights and the fairs. And parent engagement is about how do we engage our families in learning how to support their students, how to better increase their own knowledge about the educational system. We got it from one of the recent federal program trainings that we attended. So I think that's a really good way to look at it. And so when you look at our LCAP that you approved last summer, or in the beginning of the summer, is you saw in our goal 3, like that continuing effort with PK, that continuing commitment that we work with DLAC on our English learner community and all of those outreach things that we do. So I hope that you can see that show up, especially as we're bringing back our mid-year review to you for our LCAP. So we'll make a little side note to highlight those things.
I do have a question regarding the parent engagement piece. So there's a lot of other school districts that do parent university. Do we do that? Okay.
Yeah, so we're looking at ways of, we did, like, for many years, we did Parent University here. Last year, with the support of Student Services, we worked with PK and we had really, really great success. And so we're gonna be in partnership with them again, because their ability to outreach into the community and really recruit families was outstanding. And so it's an organization that we want to continue to work with. And they provide similar opportunities to empower parents to really be advocates and to learn about the educational system, how to work with their school sites, how to work with the district. So it's definitely a priority for us.
Thank you. Yes.
I think it's because it broke that one time, so I just don't use it anymore. But just a suggestion is, again, as newer board members, and I guess I'll just speak for myself, when I see these kinds of documents and when I read on the agenda that it's for us to approve, it would be really nice for us to have some kind of direction of what we're looking for, like what you just said, and ensuring that we're in compliance and such. Just so that we have an awareness, because I didn't go through the detail. I looked for completion, I looked for some inconsistencies, but on a whole scale, I was like, oh my God, this is just way too much. So if we can, I don't know if that goes in the agenda or it's a separate email that's sent to us, like when you're reviewing these documents, please look for this, just to kind of give us a way to approach our review.
Noted. I can include that in my weekly report, just so that you have a heads up on what's coming up and what to look for.
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful if we create a Sonia and I have created a pretty extensive alignment document. And so we can show you what we're looking for in our SIPSs. And then we could add that column of really what the role of the Board of Education is looking at in their kind of view of the SIPSs. But so we'll bring that, how about like mid-year spring when we start to do our LCAP mid-year reviews and start that SIPSA work.
No, no, no. For the new people, it might help to know that, in 2022, the SIPSs were approved in November. In 2023, they were approved in December. And last year, they were approved in November. And we had presentations, so we could spread them out a little bit, so we had time to absorb them. And I will continue to go into the weeds, because that's what I do.
Yes, we know and respect that of you. But yeah,
Jean, can you talk a little bit about the timelines?
Yeah.
So the November, December timeline, we'd like to share with the board why we are bringing the SIPSAs at this time. We have kind of been, so we have really not been following the timeline as we should have been. Technically, it's just like your budget at home. You should only spend dollars that you have. So the LCAP, the SIPSAs, those should all be approved ahead of even spending any dollars. So we are kind of going backward. So we are trying to correct that. Jean, do you want to add a little bit?
Yeah, so we've been doing a slow roll because even for our principals to say, it used to be their SIPSs were due to Ed Services, sometime in the summer, and then they would get to reviewing them, and then they would come to you for presentation. But really, that Sonia and I are rule followers, our whole team is. And so through the federal program monitoring process, we really, really want to stick to what Ed Code requires of us. And it does require that the SIPSs are first really approved by the school site council in May, and that they should come to you in May, August, when we are doing our LCAP approval. So I know that means that you have this much paper to review, but that's really the requirement through the Ed Code, is that they kind of go as a package because they should work again in partnership with each other. So I know it's a lot of reading, but again, I think if we can tease out for you the spirit of what your role is with the SIPSs and share what the role of the school site council is. I know that we will still have some very detailed copy editing that is going on, but that will help, I think, you understand the process, and I think just learning that the data is coming, like you'll get this CASP data released, I think December, January, when the state releases it. And we are well into our comprehensive needs assessment on what we're already doing. So it's sort of a behind cycle, but know that our sites are working with the current data. They have their CAS data, they have their benchmark, they have their interim, they have their PLC data. So even though it's not living in the document forms that we may present to you, it's living in the work.
I appreciate Trustee Baker's recommendation, and I see where it could just fit within the quick summary abstract, that checklist. That would just be super helpful, and I think that would also keep us focused, like you said, so we don't get in the weeds, but stay in the big picture. So I would appreciate that as well.
Okay,
Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing in the rationale of the board summary. It could be in there as far as what our role is. And so you said something that piqued my interest. School site councils approved these in May.
Correct.
Is it possible for us to get them after they're approved and that we approve them in August then, so that we have more time and maybe can talk to you about things, so that when we're here in this month, then we have even though the presentations haven't been made yet, we have had 2 or 3 months to really review them and ask you questions offline?
Yeah, I think that is something we could look at accommodating when they turn them into us, because then Sonia and I have to sort of read through them and make sure they match the alignment, and then all
Sure.
of the requirements for what the County Office of Ed would like to see in our LCAP and our SIPSs, and making those changes. So I think that we can probably find a meet in the middle, so you stay informed and are learning the process as we are bringing it forward to you in the 1,000 pages that we provided to you this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And I have a motion to approve item 6D.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 6-1, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we are on to item 7. And the first one is a resolution number 252603, independent study course offerings. This is an action item. Ms. Sonia Flores will present, and it is also a roll call vote.
Good evening, President Fayek, Vice President Paceno, trustees, and Dr. Munshi. Board approval is requested for resolution number 252603, the independent study course offerings for 2526. Ed Code 6158 allows attendance for the independent studies program to be based upon daily work completed or completion of a course at the secondary level. In order to use course-based grading, the independent studies courses must be annually certified by a resolution of the governing board stating that the courses are of the same rigor and educational quality as equivalent classroom-based courses and aligned to all relevant local and state content standards. To clarify, this is the long-term independent studies course offerings, which we provide through Virtual Learning Academy or VLA. And Gilroy Unified utilizes the Edmentum online program to ensure that courses meet these requirements in programs such as VLA, Secondary Summer School, and the courses are certified to meet California standards at all grade levels, and high school courses used are A through G approved.
Board, are there any questions? None? Do I have a motion?
Move approval?
Okay, roll call vote?
Jennifer Del Bono,
Yes.
Twin Fayak,
Yes?
Gabriella Kim,
Yes.
Kenny Moreno,
Yes.
Michelle Nelson,
Yes.
Linda Paceno,
Yes.
Hanshu Yi Baker.
Yes. Thank you.
Now we are on to item 7B, Proposition 28, the Arts and Music in Schools Funding Annual Report. Ms. Sonia Flores will also present.
Hello again. Tonight, I am presenting the Prop 28 Arts and Music in Schools Funding Report, requesting your approval. To meet the compliance requirement of the Arts and Music in Schools, or Prop 28 funding, the district must present the board with a report of full-time equivalents, or FTEs, of teachers, classified personnel, teaching aides, the number of pupils serviced, and the number of school sites providing arts education programs. This board-approved report must then be submitted to the California Department of Education, and tonight's presentation includes the information required in the annual report for the 24-25 school year. Please note that the SIPSAs for each of our schools indicate how they plan to use their Prop 28 allocation for this year. Thanks to the work of Ms. Kanani Pratt and Mr. Jonathan Souza, the GUSD Strategic Arts Plan was presented to the Board of Education in May. The comprehensive plan outlines Gilroy Unified's vision for the arts and implementation of arts program throughout Gilroy Unified, and it was sparked by the Prop 28 funding. To provide some historical background and context, on November 8th, 2022, California voters approved Prop 28, the Arts and Music in Schools Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act. The measure requires the state to establish arts instruction in schools beginning in 23-24, and it is ongoing. The funding ensures that at least 80% of those funds are expensed for the employment of certificated or classified employees to provide arts education programs instruction. The remaining funds must then be used for training, supplies, and materials, and arts educational partnership programs. Oftentimes, we've been asked, can we just use the funding to contract out? But no, that 80% is allocated for certificated and classified staff. And no more than 1% of the funds received can be used for an LEA administrative expense. The Prop 28 allocations are listed by site, and so the sites must decide how they intend to use these funds based on how much money they get, and then taking that 80% and considering what can they offer with that 80% for the staffing. With time, you can see that there's been an increase in staffing thanks to Prop 28 funds. Most of the increase has occurred with the added elementary school itinerant teachers, middle school arts electives teachers, and added music sections at the high school level. This visual details how Prop 28 dollars have supported arts education at each grade level in elementary school through our itinerant teachers, the specific arts electives now offered at the middle school level, and the overall arts programming offered at the high school. Prop 28 seemed to come at a great time as we were beginning to implement electives at the middle school level. For this upcoming 25-26 school year, we have added the following staffing and courses with the Prop 28 funding. I'm not going to read each and every one of them to you. And tonight, we request that the board approves the Prop 28 Arts and Music in Schools Funding Annual Report for the 24-25 school year. Thank you.
Or are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Del Bono.
It's a comment and a request. So first of all, thank you again for this, and then Ms. Pratt and Mr. Souza, they just did such a great job. I know there was a whole committee, but I just feel like that was just really the way to do it. And I just love that process, and I love the outcome of it. And I guess my request is, I know Ms. Corona does a great job with our communications. I mean, it's solid, it's robust, it's professional. My request would be that this really just get blasted throughout the universe in our town somehow, because I just think that so many parents just don't know, right? Even we've got so many great things happening, they still don't know. And I had mentioned this before, without the arts, that's why I pulled my daughter out of middle school. And if it had been here, we wouldn't have had to do that. And I think it's something that would really draw people to our district if they just knew more about what was available and just all the opportunity for their children. And so I just think a real solid campaign around this would be beneficial to us. And there's also a very robust arts community that's flourishing in Gilroy right now. The Arts Alliance is just going to town. It's a community-based collaborative. And then for them to know more and connect, I just think there's lots of opportunity there. So my request is for a real effort to advertise and get this out to the community. But thank you.
I do have a question in terms of allocations. How do you allocate how much each school gets?
It's actually based off of the student population and through a formula. I don't know if Alvaro wants to speak to that, but it's a formula that the state gives, and then that's the allocation.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other? Yes, Trustee Pisano.
looking through the report, the one-page report that you have up here, it says 9,400 kids were served. Were those 600 absent or?
No, it's only talking about the students who are served through the Prop $28 specifically, right? And so it's a little challenging to capture, right? But what we were looking at was the itinerant served all of the elementary schools, right? Preschool, I don't know if Jean wants to talk about that, but also GECA, for example, receives Prop $28, but because of the way that their schedule works and because their students actually take the art classes at the college and how small of allocation they get, it's very challenging for them to utilize their specific allocation for Prop 28. So it's a little.
I was going to ask, because $39,000 is like almost useless when 80% of it has to be staff. So can they pair up with another school that gets, middle schools get a little, or, and hire an itinerant between two schools? I don't know. Just trying to be.
There have absolutely been discussions about how we can creatively partner up, and then also how the different schools can spread the wealth, if you will.
Yeah. I was just wondering if it was even allowed in the
Yes.
wording of Prop 28.
We've done just that with the elementary. So we have the Vapatosa, and so she serves all of our elementary schools. We have our theater arts, not TOSA, but itinerant, who serves all of the elementary schools. So we've been really creative because it is that 80% is so restrictive. And in regards to our preschool, it's really only our special day classes, so that really sit outside of the state preschool system, because state preschool has its own funding mechanisms for things. So they've done a great job, but it's been challenging to figure out how to spend that 80%.
And also last year, that was how Mr. Souza's position was funded. It was actually spread across the different school sites as he was looking at collaboratively bringing this group together to ensure that we had this plan in place.
Thank you. Thank you for being creative.
Are there any other questions? This is an action item, so do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, that's fine. I mean, still 6-1, so it passes.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, one absent. Okay, now we're on to 7C, amendment to contract with Emerger Staffing for one board certified behavior analyst and 1 day professional development for 1 teacher for 2025-26.
Good evening, President Fiak and trustees and Dr. Munshi. This contract is for 1 behavior, BCBA board certified behavior analyst. It's not an addition. We approved this and had a person in this position last year, and then they moved over the summer. So this is just a replacement to the existing position. And then we had a contracting teacher. We found that it's very important. We ran many onboarding trainings for our new teachers. And so we wanted to add the 1 day for this contracting teacher to come to our training.
Board, are there any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 1 absent. Okay, so now we are on to item 7D, amendment to contract with Teachtown for Encore 6th to 8th package, 1 physical goods package for 2025-26 school year, not to exceed $104,076.56. And Ms. Polito.
Thank you again. So this is to buy a package. We had to open a second self-contained program at Brownell Middle School. I want to say end of June, beginning in the summer. And so this is to get materials to have that class be able to operate.
Are there any questions? None. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
No.
motion passes. Oh, sorry, any opposed? No. All right, item 7E, this is a roll call vote. Approval of resolution number 2526-04 to authorize district professional experience comparable to 24 units for teaching transitional kindergarten. This is an action item, and Dr. Paul Winslow.
Thank you, President Fiak, members of the board, Dr. Munshi. Tonight, I am here to present, as you mentioned, Resolution 2526-04, which is actually a document that the last board approved, but we're seeking to reestablish a similar document, but with some small tweaks that I'll discuss. In the state of California, with the great expansion of transitional kindergarten, the state does have very specific regulations and requirements for a teacher to teach in a transitional kindergarten program. That's actually in addition to even somebody in kindergarten. So in the state of California, one must possess a multiple subject credential, but also have preschool age specific criteria that's required in addition to that credential. That could be something such as a child educational permit, which is more credentialing, could also be ECE or early childhood education credits, or it could be local adoption of criteria that the board and the district feels is in lieu of those different items. So this is being brought to the board as it recognizes professional actual teaching experience with preschool age children to satisfy the requirement of the state of California. So essentially what we're saying is if you've taught that level of child, then that experience is the equivalent of having earned an additional permit for that. So the previous board did adopt almost an identical resolution. The only thing that we're adding to clarify is what's in bold in the very middle, and then that is described on the bottom, and I'll give you a little bit of detail of what that means. So what we're saying is the equivalency for a transitional kindergarten teacher for that additional piece that they're required, we're saying if they've taught TK before, or if they've taught TK kinder combo, we haven't seen that yet, but I guess that does exist. What we're adding to this is if they've also taught preschool. What we're finding is that a lot of people we're recruiting for the expansion for TK have taught in other districts or other programs that might not be called transitional kinder, could be called junior kindergarten, it could be called preschool. There's a lot of different levels, but we feel that adding that preschool component will allow us to not only recognize the professional experience of those who've taught preschool prior and have a multiple subject credential to teach in our transitional kinder programs. We currently have this year 14 transitional kinder classes. When I started in this position, we had 4. And so we've greatly expanded, and the state of California was very late in establishing its new PK3 specialist credential, which was supposed to be the credential for the expansion of TK. So the state was very behind on that. And so this language was codified in Ed Code to provide local jurisdictions to recognize professional experience as being a qualifier to teach transitional kinder. So we're requesting that the board take action to approve this. So again, we have local options to certify these teachers. Just one additional component. This document also goes into the auditing for transitional kinder. As Alvaro has mentioned in his MYP, the state does give additional funds for the expansion of TK, and in exchange for that, there's a lot more compliance that we're required to have, and this document helps us keep that compliance, so we're in alignment with the state of California.
Board, are there any questions? Yes, trustee Kim.
I just want to understand, or I think I'm understanding this correctly, but the last paragraph on the resolution, is it essentially saying that if a credentialed teacher teaches preschool for 1 year,
Correct.
then we are granting them this equivalent of 24 units?
Correct.
Okay.
For purposes only of satisfying their ability to teach transitional kinder.
Thank you.
Correct.
Yes, trustee Pisano.
Great, California always muddies the water with credentials. So may we assume that somebody who's teaching preschool has some sort of preschool certificate?
You could assume that, but we also have private practice that
Mhm.
is different than credentialing. And we also have those who taught preschool prior to even some of the establishment of the preschool permit structure in
Right.
California.
So these folks may not have any sort of preschool certificate, but they
Correct.
have experience teaching preschool, whether public or private.
Correct.
Thank you.
And this resolution, to clarify, also gives us the option to combine things, right? We can combine so many ECE credits, and what we're establishing is a trimester of experiences worth 9 units, right? So if we have a combination of that as well, that would keep us in compliance.
Yes, trustee.
Can you
Baker.
explain again the correlation between the 1 year and how you determined for it to equate to 24 units?
Correct,
Did you
yeah. So the
just-
state of California, so we're connecting it really to those 24 units of ECE, which ironically is one of the requirements to get a child permit, right? So they're all correlated to a certain extent. So what we're saying is if you've taught as a teacher full-time in a preschool classroom or a TK classroom or a TK combo classroom, that has the value of 24 ECE units and completely satisfies you in addition to your normal multiple subject credential to uniquely teach TK. What we're also saying is if you maybe did a trimester of preschool, then we would honor 9 units. That would be the value of 9 units.
Right.
And then we would go 18 and then we would go
Got it.
24.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I motion to move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, it's a roll call vote.
Jennifer Del Bono,
Yes.
Twin Fayak,
Yes.
Gabriella Kim,
Yes.
Kenny Moreno,
Yes.
Michelle Nelson,
Yes.
Linda Paceno,
Yes.
Hanshu Yi Baker.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And now we are
thank you.
on to section 8, action.
Quick question.
Yes.
May I add my vote for 7C? Even though it's done?
Saying yes?
Yes.
Okay.
May I?
Only if you say.
I say yes. And I already raised my hand for 7D.
Yes, you were counted for that.
Okay, all right, I just want to be there. Because people, are, where'd you go? What up? None of your business. Okay, all right.
Okay. Now we are on to action, or section 8, action information items regarding maintenance and facilities. Mr. Nato will do the monthly facilities update.
Thank you. Good evening, President Fayak, Dr. Munchi, Vice President Paceno, members of the board. It's been a while. This is the annual presentation that we give you. That's what we did for our summer vacation. So we welcome you back. And we'd like to let you know what we've done over our summer vacation. So one of the projects that we did is replace the roof at the Christopher High School E-wing. That's the one that goes along Cougar Court. That roof was failing in many different individual areas. So over the summer, we took off the roof and replaced it. It looks beautiful if you like looking at roofs. It took us pretty much the whole month of July, so there's a lot of square footage that takes place, there's a lot of square footage that needs the old elements to come up and the new TPO roof to go down. So
Excuse me, remind me, how old is Christopher High School?
this roof was applied in 2008. The warranty is about 17 years old. It's about 2.5 years left. And I do believe Matt's actually working at a rebate on those, on the last 2.5 years. It's not a lot, but it's definitely, it's something that we should chase for sure. I will let you know the other roofs were placed within a year of that same time. They're doing fine. I wouldn't say that they're going to be perfect for another 20 years, but they didn't fail the way this one particularly did. I do believe that there was some inefficiencies that occurred when they were installing this particular roof. But that's been remedied. Let's see, another item that we've done is we finished the demolition of the old maintenance bay at Transportation and installed a new restroom. This project is still undergoing. The restroom is in place. The utilities are tied in. We still have some asphalt to go in. We still have some sewer lines to replace and a fire hydrant that needs to be installed. So that project will wrap up in September. But it's looking good. That the building went in, I think mid-July. It was like the second week of July. These are some images of taking down the old maintenance bay. That's an old cement. I guess it's theoretically it's older than what they call a tilt-up building. I believe it was put up in around 1911, and that's based on some modernization drawings that we have from 1941 for that building. But it finally came down, and that side of the yard is starting to look really nice, which is great. I'm really happy for Transportation. Another project that we had in play is a walk-in fridge freezer at Luigi Aprea. So this was to replace an existing fridge that's been in their parking lot for the existence of the school. This will now be accessible directly from inside the kitchen. It features a refrigerator compartment and a freezer compartment. And that's, again, directly accessed from within inside the kitchen. It does protrude out into the playground, but over the summer, we were also able to, thank you, Mr. Meza, slurry coat the playground and restripe everything. So outside, it looks great. We put some pickleball court striping out right next to that area. And at the end of this project, that light gray box will be fenced in, so it won't be accessible to the students. And this is some images of that as it was going in. Most of this took place in July. It is a project that is still underway. I think the last elements that we have left on this project are the flooring inside the kitchen. We did do some modernization inside the kitchen, which we will discuss in just a few of our agenda items later. We installed, let's see, a new oven and a range. Made some modifications within the kitchen, adding a water tap for the oven and the range, new wall boards and flooring. And on to some of the funner projects, I think. These are the playgrounds we
nice.
did this summer. We did 3 playgrounds. I do wish Trustee Pace was still here because he loved to test drive all of the components. So this is Rucker Elementary. If you get a chance, this is a really nice setup. They had such a wide playground pit, if you will. So the components have lots of room in between all of the components. It looks sparse at times, but it's a phenomenal setup. This is it from another angle, so you can see it's a much bigger complex than that last image showed. And
Before you
there's,
move on,
yes.
I want to say, I know that those of us on the Facilities Committee were kind of a thorn in your side about the Rucker Playground. Thank you, Mr. Mesa, and thank you, Paul, for expanding that project.
Happy to do so. Happy to do so, for sure. Yes, and I think the outcome is phenomenal. The swings down there are always a hit. Swings are something that seems to be disappearing in our playgrounds. And it's unfortunate, but Rucker has their swings. You don't see them on the left-hand side, but they're just wrapped up. That was still during construction, and they were installing the pour in place.
Don't forget that it has a new fence too.
It
'Cause
does.
it does, I drove by, it does look very, very nice, and it's got a
Yes.
nice fence too, little higher. But I also wanted to say thank you to Trustee Pacino. I think you were the one who brought it forth, and it was just like, yeah, we should do that. So no bark. I like the no bark.
Yes, I love it. I do, I'm a big fan of the no bark playgrounds. When you have pour in place, it creates an ADA compatible playground that is so much easier to maintain. It's a modern take on playgrounds. I do like it. Sometimes I miss the smell of bark, but I'll get over it. Yeah. Um, yes, the splinters and the tan bark in the shoes. Yep. This is the Rod Kelly. This is going to be, this is not only for their preschool, but it's also for their TK. So this is a combined unit. And this was just done in that, it looks great compared to the unit that you saw before. It was very vintage. And last but not least is Elliot. This was actually the first one that was done. This was done probably very early in July. Elliot went in, and this is also in their TK space. Great combination. I haven't been able to go see. We always go by and see how the kids adopt to the playground. We haven't been able to go by yet, but I will by next week. And rounding out some of our summer projects, something that I believe Trustee Moreno started years ago. These are the updated marquees for all of our, or I wouldn't say all, but some of our elementary schools, obviously Rucker, El Roble, Glen View Elementary School, and Luigi Aprea Elementary School. Just a quick note for the record, Glenviews, if you look, the word Glenview is all one word in the photo. That was actually an error on the manufacturer's part. It was actually pointed out to the manufacturer by our illustrious project manager, Marissa. And they replaced it for free, no problem, sent it out. We put it in a couple of days ago, so it's been corrected. This is an old image, yes. Because we have to submit the presentation prior. So yeah, we just got it done, I think, on Tuesday. And that's it for my presentation.
Yes, Trustee Del Bono.
Thank you for your presentation and all your hard work. Also, congratulations on your Garlic Festival leadership.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed my Friday at the Garlic Festival, and it just felt like a big hug being there. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
We
so
appreciate that.
thank you. I also know that it was really hot today, really hot today. And I thought, I hope there was like some kind of support there at Gilroy High School, the gym, to deal with the heat. Okay, so I'm hoping there was some support for the Gilroy High School gym to work around the heat there.
Mhm.
And then also, it was brought to my attention, someone asked me to ask about air filters, specifically at Gilroy High School, being replaced every 3 months or so.
Mhm.
So I just want to bring that up. That was asked for me to ask about that.
Sure.
And then the last ask I had was to ensure that lifts, elevator lifts were working properly, I think at Christopher and one of the elementaries, and I'm forgetting the elementary right now. So I just want to bring that up. Those are things that are being asked of me to just bring forth.
Sure, no
Yeah.
problem. So I'm actually not, I haven't been to Gilroy High School in the last few days, but I will check in. I do know that there's not adequate HVAC in one of the gym components, and it gets relatively hot in there. I'll follow up with the maintenance department.
Can I just jump in?
Sure.
My son asked him today how it was in the gym, and he said it was very comfortable. They had he said four large fans or air systems in there, and it wasn't bad at all. So I was like, because we know that's a problem. And I saw the kids, I think yesterday I think they're practicing volleyball maybe. I was like, whew, that's got to be hot, but I didn't go inside. So hopefully that, at least the air movement is creating some comfort.
For sure.
So.
Yep.
Trustee Moreno, on hot days, we usually send out, there's a notice that goes out from the district, just giving principals a heads up to keep kids indoors, change practice hours if necessary. The high schools, based on state regulations, they now follow the wet bulb, whatever. So, because that came up last year where the principal said, no, we don't have to do what you're asking us to do because the state has given us other directions. But we do send principals guidance on hot days like we had today.
Let's see, to follow up on the filter inquiry. So one of the primary functions of the HVAC technicians that we have employed here is to replace consistently. So one of the very regular elements of their job is to replace filters. And if you can imagine, we've probably got, I would say, easily 600 units over the district.
You're welcome to follow up an email if you like. I just
Sure.
wanted to just let you know that that's come to me and I want to bring it, lift it up, and you can respond in an email. That'd be great.
You bet, no
Thank you.
problem. I'll pass that on to Matt. I know Matt's got some very detailed information about that. Okay. With that, should I move on to items B through D, I believe?
Yes, can we all vote in one block? Okay, yes, please, thank you.
Okay, so item 8B is an amendment to the contract with Furman Construction Inspections for inspection services for the walk-in cooling unit at Luigi Aprea Elementary School. This is an increase of $13,000 to the original amount of $12,500 for a new total of $25,500. Let's see. Item 8C is an amendment to contract with Adis Architects for the walk-in cooling unit at Luigi Aprea. An increase of $10,500 to the original amount of $137,000, $137,070 for a new total amount of $147,570. Item D is a contract amendment to Adis Architects for the restroom building and transportation department. This is an increase of $18,855 to the original amount of $165,720 for a new total amount of $184,575. And finally, and this is the fun one, this is a contract with Quill Signs or School Signs Incorporated for the purchase and installation of a marquee sign at Mount Madonna High School, not to exceed $70,935.11.
Board, are there any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve items 8B through E?
Move approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Now,
Can I don't think, just for those of us that haven't been there, I think we asked last year. I would like a tour of the transportation and the maintenance yard. It wouldn't be when it's done, when the upgrade's done, maybe.
There's
would like to
still
do that.
some construction there because Alvaro and I were there just a few days ago. In a couple of weeks, once everything
Yeah, when
clears
it's
up,
done.
definitely.
Just keep it on,
We'll
put
do
it in
that.
the calendar.
thank you. All right, and now to item 9, board member reports. Are there any board member reports? Yes. Trustee Moreno.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to say I had a great time visiting the new Mount Madonna High School. It's just fantastic. I don't have a lot of history with the old one, but I know I don't want to be there. So having the new school with its opportunities, for what it will do for the students to have, I think, be proud of the school they attend, just by its physical appearance and knowing that it maybe feels a bit more fair, more equal. But I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to the opportunities and looking, and the positive reports that will be coming from staff and from the principal and the students themselves. So I thought it was great and looking forward to that continuing to grow and build and being a jewel in our crown, as it were. So that's it.
Yes, Trustee Nelson.
So, I'm sorry I missed all the excitement for the beginning of the school year. I missed everything. But I was taking care of family members, one with 2 legs, one with 4, so. But I'm back, so I'm looking forward to visiting schools. Thank you.
Trustee Del Bono.
I do. I didn't type it out this time, but I have a list of things I want to address. First thing that I would like to address is I am overwhelmed with the generosity of our community. having been downtown live doing scholarship fundraising, our community is amazing. So I just wanted to call out the Exchange Club, Nueva Vida Community, the San Ysidro Community Center, the South County Youth Task Force, Community Solutions, Rebecca Children's Services, all the Rotary Clubs, the Elks Clubs, they all supported students with coming back to school. And it just makes me feel like we live in a very special place. We have a lot of service organizations in a very small town. So it's just really impressive. And I just want them to know how much I appreciate how much they care about children. And then I just want to share that I joined the Gilroy Arts Roundtable Steering Committee. And I'm really excited about that. This group of people really believe in supporting the work through community and what's possible through spreading equity through arts. And it's really exciting. I'm just excited about how much they care about art for everyone in our community. And they have a lot of efforts around youth too, which is really helpful. I attended the Youth Climate Summit in Campbell, and that was really exciting. I was overwhelmed with how many people came to this event throughout our county. City officials, Supervisor Board President Lee was there, community leaders, students, board members, just so many people who care about our climate and our earth. And so I was able to sit in the Gilroy Morgan Hill group, and everyone committed to something. So what I committed to was just bringing together like a Zoom meeting so that we can talk about what do we want to do now that we know each other and we know that we're all interested and we want to support this work in our communities. What do we want to do? So I'm going to go ahead and send that invitation out and ask people to come together in a Zoom, and then we'll see what the group wants to do and invite others to be part of this. I just hosted and completed myself, first time ever, a 3-day National Compadres Network Circle Keeper training here in Gilroy. It was really exciting. I had never completed the process. I'd paid for it in the past, encouraged other people to do it, but it was the first time ever I got to participate. And I loved it. And I also love that within our community and within our county, we have a lot of people now who are trained to support our schools, to support adults, to support any organization in this work, but most importantly, to support themselves. And that was really, it was inspiring because as people were saying, there's never been a greater need for this kind of work. And so it was just nice to know that it was hosted in our town. And even the people who weren't from Gilroy kept saying, there's something about this place. What is it about Gilroy? I love it. I'm like, yeah, it's different. It's awesome. And they loved the food. They loved our food. Also, I am really excited about continuing the conversations with Councilmember Hilton around how we support safe, healthy, violence-free communities through joint use facilities agreements, and really elevating that work with research-backed evidence that shows that it works and how we can support each other in that. Also, he has agreed to invite me to conversations that he has with public health around tobacco use prevention, which is really important for me. He works with public health currently to reduce the number of smoke shops, within proximity to schools, and lots of other things that we can really explore together as a community to ensure that students are, our community safe, not just students. And it's especially important now that the Tobacco Use Prevention Education Department that used to exist at the County Office of Ed has now not working in the capacity that it used to. So we want to be able to make sure that we have all agencies really working together to support a healthy Gilroy community. And then this was exciting. I attended just recently the School Link Services Community Forum. I'm not sure if anybody else did because you couldn't see anybody. And what was really exciting about that is they were giving the updates on School Link services. Gilroy was an initial adopter with the School Link services many, many years ago. And I think we have 3 School Link services coordinators in Gilroy in our district. I think it's 3. Okay, so they talked about what that's looking like moving forward. One concerning thing was that the MHSSA funding, they said it's really dwindling. It's kind of at the end. They're at the end of their funding, but they're looking at ways of sustaining the work, right, and other sources. But I did want to share, and I could share the presentation with everyone. It was just really nice to know that the role of our School Link Services coordinators, some districts don't have any. We have 3. is service coordination with agencies. Family engagement is one of the key elements of the role of a schooling services coordinator. Campus collaboratives and co-investment, like really just co-investing with families, communities, schools around the work. They fund some of the job or the positions. We should be funding the other part. And then the role also provides services coordination and linkage to resources to support the needs of the students, maintains referrals, and then with behavioral health and other agencies, leverages data to inform services, track results, and improve interventions, acts as a liaison between district, school, behavioral health, and contract providers, coordinates and hosts family engagement activities to build stronger relationships and foster a positive school climate. So we actually have a role, 3 people who have a role within their job to support some of the things that were important to what people were sharing today. And there's a lot more in this. You can hear about really cool things that they're doing and elevating around the position, and then how they're working through the funding ending and transitioning to a new sustainability possibility through the work. So I'll share that with everyone. And that's it.
Yes, trustee Baker.
So one of my committee assignments is I'm the liaison to the Santa Clara County School Boards Association. So I've been working with Bonnie Mace, who's the executive director. One of the things that they do throughout the year is they do what's called networking lunches. So they just shared with us their new calendar, and I noticed there's nothing down here. So I reached out to her and I said, could we do something down here in Gilroy, Morgan Hill? And she's so open to it. In fact, she came up to me at an event I was at earlier on in the year and actually approached me and said, what can we do to better engage with South County? So that was great because I had heard from our board members that, you know, we tend to be forgotten. And I don't think it's intentional. I just don't know if we've just ever established that relationship. So I need some restaurant ideas. So if you all have a good restaurant, I'd like to do it in Gilroy because it's our town and not necessarily Morgan Hill. So please let me know, and then I'll give her that feedback or let her know our suggestion. The other thing is, and I want to thank Linda for bringing this up. As we know, we've got several members whose time is up next year, and so we all know that Linda, even though we've been trying to strong arm her to stay, is looking to finally retire. So we would like to do some candidate sessions. And so I reached out to Bonnie and she said she'd be happy to work with us. And this was Linda's idea. So I reached out to her and she said, yes, they'd be happy to do one for us down here so that we can inform our residents and get some folks to be interested in running for these important positions. And with that said, they will do one for the county in June. So perhaps we can talk about it at some point to figure out date, time, location.
Yes, trustee Pacino, and then trustee Kim.
Short and sweet. I also, along with trustee Moreno, was delighted to go through the Mount Madonna, the new Mount Madonna. In my living in Gilroy, this is the 3rd Mount Madonna, and every year, every transition is better and better. And this is the best so far. What's exciting to me are the possibilities and opportunities for career ed and for new curriculum. And that is really thrilling. And we went through the preschool. And I hadn't been through the preschool. That was
nice.
really nice. That was fun to go through and to see that. I went to the back to school and I was trying to think when the first one was. It's got to be about 30 years. And other than the 7 years when I was really retired, I have been to all, and we used to call them command performances because all employees go to a gym and the superintendent speaks to you. And some of them have been arduous. And what I saw this week was inspiring and exciting. And you could, Anisha will never say this, but you could have heard a pin drop in that gym. And the gym was filled, all of the bleachers as well as tables and chairs on the floor. It was inspiring, and the data that she chose to share, you didn't share your successes, our successes. Send that out Sunday, because that's really powerful. But good things have already happened in the 2 years that Dr. Munshi has been here. And she highlighted those, as well as some really startling facts about what happens to dropouts nationwide, not just Gilroy Unified. And so earlier, we were asked, why are we changing? We're changing because our kids' lives depend on it. That's the most important reason to change and to do things differently, because we all know if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same thing. And our kids depend on us to give them a better life, to give them the opportunity for a better life. And that is absolutely worth everything that we're doing. And I truly, honestly believe that we will start seeing some improvements in academics this year. I appreciate the principals coming to us. I know it's nerve-wracking, and we're asking them really, really hard questions because their job is really, really hard. And we have to know that we are doing everything we can to help our kids. And so anyway, the command performance was pretty special and pretty impressive. So thank you.
That wasn't short and sweet, but I appreciate it. So I do have some information to share as well. As part of the South County Youth Task Force Committee, we had a meeting yesterday. And like every other organization and school district, there are funding issues. We have, so the South County Youth Task Force, their diversion program is actually it's looking like it's going to be a model for California to follow. It's an amazing program. Unfortunately, apparently the city of Gilroy hasn't been paid for it since October. So what they proposed to the group was, here, can everyone kind of pitch in dollars so that we can sustain at least the minimum diversion program, which does not include what we're doing at South Valley. So I had requested them to give us numbers so that how can we support the full program? Because I know this is the first, actually, I've been part of South County Youth Task Force since I've been a board trustee. This is the first time I actually saw numbers from Gilroy. And I was really happy to see that the referral numbers to the diversion program for Gilroy was higher than Morgan Hill, because it's never been that way. Morgan Hill has always had a higher referral rate in numbers than us. So I'm really excited to see that we have so many referral numbers. And they're really looking at the data, right, to have it as a use case. And when they looked at, it's been since 2003. So a couple of years that they really have done this diversion program. So they have data for the 50 juveniles that graduated from the diversion program in 2023. They have it's not recidivism rate, but the recidivism rate is 92%. So 92% of the kids that graduated did not commit another crime.
Yeah.
I know, I'm like, not a recidivism, but some other word. Sorry about that, yeah. So that's an amazing statistic. And that's why I think the diversion program is so important. And our colleague from Morgan Hill, basically, I loved the way he framed it, but he said, this is where we commit, because we always say we support kids and we want to invest in kids. Well, now's the time to do it. Put our dollars where it counts. So I'm happy that the district is putting it, our district, Morgan Hill District is committing to, I think, right? To maintaining the current existing services for our students, including the pilot program at South Valley. Yes.
Can we also get how the efforts have moved our data points so that we can just make that connection as well?
What data points are you looking at?
Suspensions, expulsions, academics, chronic absenteeism, any of our data points that are like probably like at the highest. If we could, it would be helpful for me if I could also see, that'd be great, how those efforts move our needle as well. Thank you.
Yeah, well, so two things. Number one, it's been a little difficult to get data for Gilroy because the school district doesn't hold the data. It's a city that holds the data because it's police department. So each police department for the city, they're the ones that are collecting, because they're the ones that are collecting the referral information. Because if it's a citation, right? And the majority of the citations are not on school campuses. It's in the community. So when they have the citations, they have, I don't know what their criteria is, but if it fits the criteria, then they are referred to the diversion program. So that's why it's a little difficult, and they're starting to really gather detailed data now and getting input. So I'm not going to be able to provide that information because it just doesn't exist right now. So like, for instance, when I saw the data yesterday, they had a number of citations and a number of enrolled. I wanted to be able to see, okay, out of all the citations, how many qualified and then enrolled? So they need to continue refining it. So again, this is like the first time that they're making each city it's a requirement to do. So that's why it's going to be a little difficult to compare the data because it's from two different sources, and also the majority of them are in the community versus on school campus. Yes, Trustee Kim? It's not ready. Oh, I'm done, I think. Okay.
Yeah. So what are the funding sources for the diversion program?
So there are 5 originating organization that we like, our district, Morgan Hill District, the county, which is the DA's office, and both cities, Morgan Hill and Gilroy, put in money. They have a grant, but the majority of the grant, or the majority of the program, is now being paid by a grant. Initially in 21, 22, I think, they started with like a $50,000 pilot, and now it's up to like $250,000. So, but it's a grant, is what's paying for the diversion program.
So it's an annual grant?
It's typically a 3-year grant.
Okay, so Gilroy, the city of Gilroy has not been paid?
No.
Because, or what? Explain that?
So it's a little because the office, I think I don't remember if it's a federal or state office that the grant was from.
It's a state grant, and there were some dollars pulled. So there isn't enough funding to pay for the personnel that operate the diversion program through the end of this year. So for the next 4 months, August, September, October, through the end of the year, they need enough. They don't have adequate funding. But the South County Youth Task Force is applying for a $2-some million grant, which they're hoping, if it comes through, then carries this work for the next 3 years. But there's a gap. So between now and December, which is when they'll apply for that grant, if there is no funding that everybody pitches in, we cannot operate the diversion program. So that's what the funding would be for. But the $2-some million grant would be then for the next 3 years.
So I do agree with investing in prevention. Could I ask though, if we're going to move forward with putting a proposal together to contribute to this, we see what that looks like with a reduction in the number of expulsions that we will be paying for moving forward? Because that's the only way that I could feel like I could see us being able to afford it. We're going to reduce the number of expulsions because we're trusting in the diversion, and then it would balance out. Like, that's how we pay for it. Reduce the number of expulsion spots that we pay for to use that money to then cover the offset.
I just want to remind Trustee Del Bono, just in the data that I sent you this last weekend that Kermit had prepared, in the last 3 years, our expulsion numbers have gone from 40 to 28 this last year. So if we do not support the diversion program, it will not operate. So there's a lag of 4 to 5 months. So it's kind of a.
So I think we're saying the same thing, that expulsions are going down, then we don't need to allocate as many spaces moving forward, and that costs us money, and that savings could then be going towards what we're supporting with the diversion program.
But already
We're
spent the money.
we're outside of
yeah,
Brown
yeah.
Act right now because
Yeah,
this is
okay,
not on the
sorry, yeah.
agenda.
Okay.
So maybe we'll need to agendize this or
Agendize
to
Funding
discuss it.
for
Yeah.
the program, okay.
Yeah, sorry to open that can of worms. I just wanted to say that, and it's not a large amount of money. Because it is just a stopgap for now. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up is the diversion program works. I'm glad that we're investing in it. Yes, yes, Trustee Kim.
Can I change the subject?
Yes, of course,
Okay.
please do.
I just wanted to give a shout out, if you will, to a couple of our parent groups. The GECA parent group put on an incoming 9th grade ice cream social popsicle event over at one of our local parks, which was wonderful. They had a really great turnout for incoming 9th graders or 9th graders who just started. So it was great to be there. Miss Spinach was there as well. But all parent club run. It was wonderful. And then Luigi also had their parent club put on a snow cone event, and the line for snow cones was just as long as the line to see kids' classes. So, and they had like Girl Scouts out. They had a table to set up to join the parent club. Just a great way to start the school year for some of our students. So thank you, parent clubs.
Yes, true.
So the Christopher High School did an inaugural event. The football team and the cheer and dance team got together last Saturday. They were out on the field. It was the first time the two came together to practice the scrimmage, and then the parents put on a massive barbecue. And so we had all kinds of dads and moms out there. I was able to get cookies from Crumble. Bunch of cookies. They're really, really generous with their cookies. Essentially, you just have to drop off a letter and they give you the cookies from the night before. So we got, I don't know, like 10 dozen cookies. It was so much. I couldn't even carry the bucket. So, and then this Saturday, the cheer team, somehow we got in with the Levi Stadium. So I got to work Metallica a couple months ago or whenever that concert was. And between three cheer parents, we made like $1,200 that night. And I got to see Metallica, which, you know, I don't really know. I think I knew one song. And then this Saturday, I'll be working the preseason 49ers game. So if any of you would like to come and work, even if your kid isn't at Christopher, but if you want to get in, because we're trying to get as many volunteers, so we'll be asked to help with the Super Bowl. So that's kind of our goal right now, is to get as many of our parents, because I know a lot of them, especially the dads, want to work the Super Bowl. And it's actually quite fun. So anyway.
Any other board announcements? Okay. Any upcoming and new referral agenda items?
I do. I would love to see updates or considerations around the addition to the, no, I'm sorry. I would like to see how the comprehensive school safety plans are including more of the positive school climate efforts like bully prevention, violence prevention, social emotional learning, restorative practices, so that the plans, when we get them later, are more comprehensive.
And announcements. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education will be held on Thursday, September 4th, 2025. Closed session will begin at 5, followed by the study session at 6, and the regular meeting at 7 p.m. The agenda will be available on the district's website by 5 p.m. on Friday, August 29th. And we do not have to go back to closed session, so I will adjourn the meeting.